after Jack Ruby killed Oswald, we learned through this letter, signed by J. Edgar Hoover and suppressed by the Warren Commission for almost a decade, that Ruby also worked for the FBI before he killed Oswald. Who was Oswald? Craig's crucial observation of him on November 22nd in Dealey Plaza and his confrontation with him a little later caused the question to be posed in 1963. More than a decade later, a congressional investigating committee was still troubled by the implications of FBI cover-up. Just recently, in winning a case in the federal district court against the Secret Service under the Freedom of Information Act, we were able to determine that the Secret Service maintained a file in 1963 with the names of 1 million potential threats to presidents. 1 million. On the average, 1 out of every 200 Americans were listed as potential threats. Yet Oswald, an activist for the Fair Play for Cuba Committee, a man who had renounced his American citizenship in Moscow, who had sought a visa to Cuba and to the Soviet Union, who owned a rifle, and who recently secured a job on the president's motorcade route, was not among the million potential threats. Was that because he worked for the FBI? Shortly before the assassination, Oswald personally delivered a letter to Special Agent James Hosty of the FBI office in Dallas. Yet the Warren Commission never saw that letter, never even learned that such a letter had been delivered. When Hosty testified before the FBI Oversight Committee of the House Judiciary Committee in 1975, he tried to explain why that had happened.
Sunday, November 24th, it was at least 2 hours after the announced death of Lee Oswald. It could have been 3 or 4 hours afterwards. It was sometime that afternoon of November 24th. Mr. Howe told me that Mr. Shanklin wanted to see me and Mr. Howe in his office.
What transpired at then?
Mr. Shanklin reached down into the lower right-hand drawer of his desk. It's a large double drawer in which he has numerous manila folders where they keep various notes. There's a folder for each agent, and they keep various notations and routing slips, error forms, and things like that in these folders. He reached down and took out the memorandum and the note in question, and he handed it to me, and he said, in effect, Oswald's dead now. There can be no trial. Here, get rid of this. I then proceeded to tear it up. His presence, he said, no, get it out of here. I don't even want it in this office. Get rid of it. I then took it out and destroyed it.
And how did you destroy it?
I took it into the washroom and flushed it down the drain.
Did you testify before the Warren Commission?
I did.
Did you volunteer or give any information about the note or its destruction?
I did not.
Why not?
I wasn't asked.
Did you give any information or volunteer any information with respect to your instructions regarding Commission Exhibit 103?
No, sir.
Why not?
I wasn't asked.
And did you think about volunteering the information?
No, sir.
Why not?
I was instructed when I went up there that I was to only answer the questions that were set to me, and I was not to expand on anything and not to elaborate, to only answer the questions that were put to me.
And who gave you those instructions?
Given to me by at least 2 officials in Dallas and at least 1 in FBI headquarters. They were given to me by Mr. Shanklin, Mr. Gimberling, who was a supervisor who succeeded Mr. Howe, and also by former Assistant Director Alan Belmont.